another video. My name's Leslie and we are going to be finishing up the Boo Crew Sew Along. It is a free sew along by Fat Quarter Shop, and I did do a couple videos already about how these blocks went together, but now we're going to finish up the rest of the quilt. I will put a link in the description box below for my past videos. But what I needed to do next, I needed to get my backing all prepared for the basting process. I did put a label on the back. I get these from Etsy and I do a zigzag stitch to make them stay. My favorite batting to use is the Quilter's Dream 80/20 batting. It quilts beautifully and it looks really nice even after it's washed. It doesn't shrink too much. Sometimes I will baste on the floor, sometimes I'll baste on a table. I've been trying to do the table more to help my back, but this was such a small quilt, I figured it was going to be quick to do it on the floor. I do like to take my big quilting rulers to smooth out the quilt top onto the batting, and sometimes, not always, but Peekaboo is still figuring out that he's not supposed to step on my quilts when I'm doing this, but he did it anyway with this one. He walked all over it. My big dog, Little Bear, he knows better, but the little one's still trying to figure it out. So I like to pin baste. That is my preferred method of basting. Yes, you can also use a spray baste, that's fine, but this is just how I like to do it. And I just feel like it's a lot more secure. The only downside is it does take longer to baste your quilt together. And I like that I can move my quilt around after I baste it. I know it's not going to shift. Sometimes I'll put those pins closer together than what I'm showing in the picture, but it really does hold it together nicely. So I found a design online, I don't remember where I got it from, but where I could do these loops with some pumpkins, and I practiced and I was able to do it. So that's how I quilted the majority of the quilt. And then for the border, I did use one of Angela Walter's quilting rulers called Shelly to do those arches to make it look like almost like a spider web. And there it is, all done. I love the texture that it got from the quilting. It was really even, so I was pretty proud of myself. And then after that, it was time to square up the quilt. So I did have to cut off the extra batting, the extra fabric that I didn't need. I saved the bigger pieces for future projects. You'll see here that I did switch out my foot to a walking foot. I like to use that when I put my binding on, and it just helps to go through so many layers and keep it all straight. And I did do a scrappy binding, which I absolutely love. You'll notice that I like to iron my binding once it's sewn onto one side. I do sew it on the back first, and then I flip it over to the front. And then from there, I like to use these binding clips. They do have little measurement marks on the clear edge, so that's why the colors are on the bottom and the clear is on the top, so I can make sure my binding is going to be even, basically. And then you'll notice I'm sewing really close to the edge of that binding. I am sewing on the front of the quilt, and it turns out really nice. This is my favorite method to bind. I love this method. I think it just looks really professional when you're all done with it. And when it washes, it just crinkles a little bit, not too much. So if you're wondering what the back looks like, you'll see here there is a line that's parallel to the binding, and it is going to go all the way around the quilt. That's the line that was sewn when I was attaching the front of the binding to the front of the quilt, and it just blends in with the quilting. And there you go. It is all done. I love how it turned out. It's going to be displayed in my house for Halloween, and I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the process of putting this quilt together. I did change up the fabrics a little bit on my end, but I love what I chose. So if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and feel free to check out stitchandbeartime.com to see my blog as well. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye!